This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1, and we are now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days after learning that Chris Hallett was murdered by Neely Blanchard due to the fact that Chris Hallett was unable to procure permanent custody of her children for her. That he failed miserably, that he should not have even promised that he was going to get custody of the children. Now this brings up an important point. E-Clause, Kirk Pendergrass and Chris Hallett presented themselves as an expert on the law. Because they had all these books, they had read all these books, and they could point out things in the books. This is what we call theoretical knowledge. You have knowledge of the theory. But where's the practical knowledge? How many times has either one of these gentlemen been in a courtroom, argued their case, argued with another attorney who had a different view of what they were presenting, arguing with a judge, showing the practical knowledge of their profession? They did not do that. They simply opened a few books, read the books, went on the air, advocated themselves as experts to an audience that had no idea who these men were. Now let's look at Chris Hallett, who created E-Clause. Chris Hallett was basically the mentor to Kirk Pendergrass. He was the leader. He was the teacher. Kirk Pendergrass admitted this several times. Even when they got into arguments, Kirk Pendergrass argued that Chris Hallett was his teacher. But Chris Hallett had never set foot in a courtroom as a legal advocate, as a licensed bar attorney, as an officer of the court. He'd only been there as a defendant. Chris Hallett was no expert. He didn't go to any law school, did not hold a law degree. Any of that. There's more to the practice of law than simply reading a bunch of books. I can read books. I could go down to UCF, which is a well-known law school here in Florida. They teach law. Buy a whole bunch of books on law, read the books. But could I pass the Florida bar? I doubt it. I don't know enough about what's required on the bar exam to pass the exam. It's like people that go out and they want to study for the SATs. They buy all these books, and they think if they study the books on how to pass the SATs, that they're going to pass the SATs. Some do, some don't. But then they miss out on the practical knowledge. And this is where how you really become a lawyer and why it's necessary in order to pass the bar. Because you go into a court and you're fighting for your client, but you're also fighting against another lawyer and his client. Doesn't matter if it's civil or criminal. In a criminal case, the client of the lawyer you're fighting, if you're a defense attorney, is the state. The other guy or girl is representing the state or the federal government, depending on where the case is heard. You are fighting for your client, be they a defendant in a criminal case or a plaintiff in a civil case or a respondent in a civil case. You are advocating for your customer, your client, your employer. You are an employee of a client. And because of that, you have to have the practical knowledge to be able to argue your position to the other side, who is supposed to have the same qualifications. And because of that, you simply do not go to law school, get a degree, go take the Florida bar, go out, hang up a shingle, and start practicing law. You have to go into a kind of an apprenticeship. You go to work for a law firm, or if you go into the prosecution side, you go in and you work for the state as a junior attorney. You don't go out and start arguing murder cases in court the day after you graduate law school. It doesn't work that way. You take baby steps. You're not going to be another Jose Baez who got lucky early in his legal career and successfully argued one of the most famous cases in Florida history. You have to jump through the hoops. Same thing goes for becoming a doctor. You go to medical school, you do a lot of book learning. And you do a lot of field things. You may go into a hospital as a student at some of these university hospitals and learn the practical knowledge early off. But eventually, you do graduate med school, but you generally don't go out, hang your shingle up, and suddenly start a practice. You become a resident at a hospital. And you learn. Maybe you become an intern. I don't know the exact way you do it, but you usually go into a hospital or you go to work for a medical firm and you learn practical knowledge. Literally how to operate on people, how to deal with telling a patient they have a terminal illness and things like that, and how to diagnose. And then, perhaps, you'll become a doctor. Now, Kirk Pendergrass was an auto mechanic. He fixed cars. And he may have been a certified mechanic. But he didn't get that from reading books on how to fix a car. He didn't go out and watch a bunch of YouTube videos and say, okay, I can fix cars. Went out and got a certification, and all of a sudden he's fixing cars. He actually worked on cars. He was an apprentice. Maybe he learned in his backyard how to do things, and then eventually he went to work for a shop. Or maybe he's still a shade tree mechanic, and he's not certified professionally to be a mechanic. He declares that he was. Something can be checked. But the simple thing, even an auto mechanic will tell you, a professional auto mechanic, that you just don't go out, watch a YouTube video, and suddenly become an expert on fixing cars. You actually have to get under the hood and work on the damn thing and learn from the mistakes that you inevitably are going to make what to do right. That video may not have been correct, or you didn't apply correctly what the video said, or that by watching a video and then actually trying to do what's in that video is a completely different process, that there are problems you're going to run into that weren't in that video. You learn by doing. It's the same way when you become a pilot. You go to school. You learn the theory behind how to fly an airplane. You may get into a simulator and pretend to fly it. It's kind of like going and getting Flight Simulator 2020 and flying it on your computer. Modern flight simulators, you get into this compartment and it looks like you're in a damn airplane and you fly it. But if you go out and you get in the airplane, you're going to find that simulator left a few things out. Left out what it actually feels like to be in the damn airplane. Now it gives you a little bit of an insight and kind of boosts you up a little bit, but you're going to get in that airplane, you're going to find that flying an airplane itself is a lot different than doing it in a simulator or with a computer program. You have to learn the practical knowledge. Driving a car. You go to driver ed, you do a lot of book learning, you may get into one of these little driving simulators they have and you're pretending to drive the car, but you get in that car, if you've never driven a car before, it'll wake you up because driving a car is a lot different than driving in a simulator. And this is where E-Clause failed. Because what they're doing is they're flying in a simulator, driving in a simulator. They read a bunch of books, think they're a bunch of know-it-alls, and they go out and they file all this paperwork and they fall flat on their face because they don't have the practical knowledge necessary to do what they want to do. And this is what happened with Neely Blanchard. They made promises to Neely Blanchard that they could not keep. They told Neely Blanchard that they could get her children back, that they could file this fancy paperwork with Congress, and that Congress would say, give the children back to Neely Blanchard. It did not happen. They failed miserably. Neely Blanchard got angry, and she killed Chris Hallett in the most violent way one can imagine. She unloaded a gun into him. She didn't shoot him once in the head, didn't shoot him, and that one fatal shot killed him. When he was initially shot, he realized he was probably going to die, and he yelled out. Very, very violent set of circumstances. When you read the affidavit from the deputy, it's nauseating. And when she realized that she had not killed him, she finished him off. She executed him. This was an execution. So, and as a result, Neely Blanchard is not merely charged with first-degree murder. She's charged with murder under special circumstances. And I'll get into it when I do my Friday Murder-thon. But the description used in the charge window of the affidavit is clear. She was charged with dangerous, wanton murder. If it had not been for that gun jamming on that fateful Sunday, we would be talking about a multiple homicide today. Because she actually pointed her gun at Chris Hallett's girlfriend, the mother of a child, with the child at her side, with the intent to kill that woman. The gun jammed. If the gun had not jammed, it was likely that Neely Blanchard would have killed the witness and her child because of Neely's blind rage at that moment. And Neely Blanchard did not put down the gun and wait for authorities to show up. She ran away. She went to Georgia, where she was caught at a gas station, presumably refueling her car, and is now in a county jail. And according to reports that I have read, she is showing no remorse. She feels justified, apparently. She defiantly told the deputies that they had no authority to hold her. She is that brainwashed. Now today, the conspirators are continuing. They are espousing their outlandish theories after a token memorial to Chris Hallett. They've moved on. The weird theories are out there. It is said that Kirk Pendergrass has taken advantage of the situation, is now asking for donations because he realizes that his days are numbered. That E-Clause is on its last breath that E-Claus is going to die along with Chris Hallett, because Chris Hallett was E-Claus. He was the creator of E-Claus. He was the father of E-Claus. And without Chris Hallett, E-Claus will not survive. I'll be doing a live stream Sunday at 9 p.m. Now we'll discuss the E-Claus murder and ongoing developments. This is William K. Murtaugh, Murt Witness 1. Please like, subscribe, and share. And have a good one.